For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.
Philippine News Canada is brought to you by Rayford Media Group.
Hello mga kabayan! Narito na ang pinalawak at pinalakas na coverage ng Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver Nationwide, mga pangunahing balitang nakalap ng aming news team para sa linggong ito. Mula dito sa Surrey, nagse-celebrate ng Thanksgiving, ako po si Rosette Correa at ito ang Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver. Marami sa ating mga filmmakers ang successfully nakapasok sa Vancouver International Film Festival ngayong taong itong 2022. Isa na si Kath na nanalo noong 2018 ng award para sa kanyang Finding Big Country documentary, which she followed up with this season's The Grizzly Truth. Panoorin natin ang ating exclusive interview with Kath dito sa PNC Balitang Vancouver.
It has a lot of people dreaming that the NBA might come back to Vancouver permanently.
I don't want to get arrested tonight.
Bring back the NBA, am I right? Am I right?
I was just 6 years old when the Grizzlies came to Vancouver, and I was completely obsessed with the team. I just loved watching them win or lose, which was a good thing, because they lost a lot.
Hello mga kabayan! Kasama natin ngayong araw na ito si Kath Jamie. Of course, very famous and we're so proud of her kasi she's one of us, a Filipino-Canadian filmmaker and UBC alumna. And here she is again once more being featured at the Vancouver International Film Festival. Hi Kath, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for doing this interview with us. We are so proud of you. We were there in 2018 when you won the VIFF for Finding Big Country. We were there in the audience when you were there.
Yeah.
And we're so proud of you. How does your family feel about all of this?
Yeah, they're very proud as well. Very proud. Yes.
That's awesome. So, another film about the Grizzlies. Yes. What is this about this time?
So I've made 4 films about the Vancouver Grizzlies now. This is my longest one to date. It's called The Grizzly Truth, and it's about my search and quest for answers about why the Grizzlies left town, over 2 decades ago.
Awesome. And were you able to interview team members, coaches, etc. for this one?
Yes, I interviewed a bunch of players, like a handful of them. I was able to fly to their, to the different cities. They live kind of all across North America. Interviewed players, coaches, management, the dancers of the team, the mascot of the team. So yeah, I tried to speak to everyone and anyone that I could.
Now, just curious, why do you think there's an obsession with basketball with us Filipinos? What have you heard from the grapevine or from everywhere?
I mean, I know that the Americans introduced basketball to us, over a century ago, and basketball was taught to, Filipinos in schools, one of the first sports that was introduced to us by the Americans. So we have a long history with the sport. And the film, I'm not sure. So in the film, we talk about this history and why and how basketball is part of Filipino culture.
I know that's awesome. In every canto, we always say there's always a basketball game happening.
Yeah.
And it's just great that you're doing this documentary on the Grizzlies. How hopeful are you that Vancouver will soon have its own basketball team again?
I'm very hopeful. I mean, I know some may think it's wishful thinking, but I do think that we have the market for it. We have the fan base for it. So I don't see why I don't see why it's so far fetched. But I know it'll take a lot of work, and I know it's not going to happen overnight. But I do think that Vancouver will get an NBA team one of these years. It's not going to happen. It won't happen, in a few days or whatnot. But I do think it is possible.
Now, my husband's always following the NBA, and he was saying that there's not a lot of market for basketball in Vancouver before, when the Grizzlies were here. But he says that now there is. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with him. I do think that back in the 90s, we weren't like we still had pretty great attendance at games, even though the Grizzlies weren't the greatest, and that's why I really love the story of the Grizzlies. But we weren't, the bottom of the league in terms of attendance. So, you know, it's not that we were, we had support then, but if you were to bring the team back now, we would have even more support.
Now, so apart from filming and doing films about the Grizzlies, because I know that's your favorite team and that's your favorite sport too, you've done other movies such as Liz, Little Big Kid, and Paradise Island. What inspires you to do a certain topic for your film?
Yeah, I just have to be really passionate about the story, because especially with documentary filmmaking, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hustling, and you have to be totally consumed by this idea to actually follow through with it, because the work it's a lot of fun, but it's very grueling as well. So you just have to absolutely love and be passionate about the topic.
Now, I also understand that you come from a movie family.
Hmm.
You have a director in your line, and can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, I have a few directors and producers in our family heritage. My great Lolo, he was a doctor who became a movie producer after the war, and he owned one of the three major studios, Premier Productions. I think it was Sampaguita, LeBron. Is that right? I think it's LeBron or LeBran. And
LVN, LVN.
LVN, yeah, LVN.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you. And Premier Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And he had three kids. My Lola Sirio, who was like a movie director and producer, made like tons of like war movies, and that was like his specialty with Roger Corman. And then then the second in line was my Lolo, who became a director, and then their youngest sister, Digna Santiago, was a movie producer in the Philippines. So yeah, so my Lolo like always had a camera in his hand, was always documenting everything, and I just kind of followed suit.
Do you happen to have a collection of those Premier Production movies at hand? Like, I don't know, even reels maybe, if you have a chance to get a hold of them.
So it's unfortunate because we have some of the tapes, but there was a fire at one of the theaters that they owned that had like all their footage, and back then there were no digital copies. So a lot of the movies burnt. So we don't have as many, like not all of the films that were made are saved. But I do have like Lorelei, that's somewhere in my room. There's another one that I have. It's on beta. So I have a few, but I wish I had all.
And maybe the posters too, because they were fantastic, right?
Yeah.
They were all hand drawn.
Yes, the posters. There's a lot that I found on Google. and just on the internet. So the posters are so cool. I love seeing the posters.
Now, is there an opportunity for you to go back to the Philippines and maybe do some film there, do some filming, some movies there, and with the local directors and actors and actresses?
That would be so cool. I would honestly love that. Yes. That
That would
if
be
that
awesome.
happened, I would totally jump at that opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kat. This has been a wonderful interview. I tried to catch you in 2018, but I couldn't. You were too busy. But now I was able to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zed.
And maybe you'd like to invite our viewers to, watch your movies.
For sure. We are just wrapping up our world premiere at the Vancouver International Film Festival. We have one more screening tomorrow. And then we will be back in theaters again. We're doing a theatrical release. So, follow the Grizzly Truth Film on Instagram and our website, thegrizzlytruthfilm.com. And we'll have all the information about screenings, where we're going to be releasing the film theatrically, and then we're going to be on Crave later on this year.
That's fantastic. Well, keep us posted, and please keep us posted with the movie premieres, and we'll be there, really rooting for you, yay, and supporting you all the way.
Thanks, Rosette. Appreciate it. Salamat.
Thank you so much, Kat. Okay, God bless.
For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.
For your palm and face reading, horoscope, numerology, and Vasta Shastra, see astrologer Raj Guru, located at 48th Avenue East, Fraser Street, Vancouver, or call 604-750-0126.
Okay lang. Nakasimulan lang kami ng bagong project kaya medyo busy.
Sal! Sal! Say hi to tatay! Hi, tatay!
May hangover ka. Okay lang yun.
Hello mga kabayan, we are so fortunate this evening to have with us one of the very talented filmmakers, Filipino-Canadian filmmakers, who is in the Vancouver International Film Festival. He's a contestant. I mean, he has his film in it, and so we are very, very honored to have with us this evening Kenton Guinness. Hi, Kent.
Hello, po. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, first of all, congratulations on making it into the Vancouver International Film Festival.
Thank
And
you so
you
much.
you did mention a while ago, hindi ito yung first time for you to be in it.
Yeah, no, but this is my second film at VIF. The first one was a short documentary that I produced back in 2019.
2019. And what was
Yeah.
the title of that documentary?
That documentary is called This Ink Runs Deep. And if
This
people want to check it
Ink?
out,
Sorry,
This
this
Ink Runs
Ink?
Deep. This
Okay.
Ink, INK, runs
Mhm.
deep. And if
This
people want to
Ink
check it
Runs
out,
Deep.
it's on the CBC platform.
That is cool. What is it about?
It's about the revival of Indigenous tattoo cultures in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you have a chance to interview some of ours that are here in Vancouver?
Not necessarily. I'm working on it right now.
Yep.
That's my next project actually. But this one's more focused in Indigenous tattoo traditions here in Canada.
Right. And we do have that in our community.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Mayo Landicho.
Yes.
Of
I'm
Manila
working.
Tattoo.
I'm working with him.
Yeah.
In my
yeah.
for my next film.
Oh, that's awesome. So this film that you have in the VIFF this year is called Paco. Can you tell us a little bit more about Paco?
Yeah. Paco is a story of a Filipino Canadian immigrant who creates this facade of success in Vancouver, and how that facade breaks when his family in Manila asks for a huge favor. It's very personal, and it's also very emotional. The film is very emotional, and I'm just happy that it's one of the films that are playing in the festival, and also one of the films that have been supported to get made last year actually. I'm just really happy that it's done.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned kanina when we were chatting was that one of your favorite topics or themes for your films is about the immigrant experience. And you mentioned also na this film, Paco, is kind of personal to you. Why do you think why is the immigrant experience so close to your heart, and why do you want to put it in film for everybody to see?
Yeah, I think what's really important for me as a filmmaker is to tell the immigrant experience or stories in a very authentic way. What the community knows about my work, it's always grounded to personal experiences. And I think that's because that's something that not a lot of people are doing within our community as Filipinos. And it just allows me to really tell our story, the realest way possible without sensationalizing the trauma that we have experienced.
Mm-hmm. Now, alam mo naman tayong mga Filipino, mahilig tayo sa mga films na kung hindi drama, comedy. Is comedy or horror, di ba?
Yeah.
Now, is that in the pipeline for you? Are you considering doing any other genre other than the lived immigrant experience? Is there anything else that you're interested in doing and putting on film?
Yes, definitely. It will still stay within the themes of the immigrant experience. But I guess one of the difference would be the genre. The thing about the industry as a whole, sometimes you get pigeonholed to a certain genre and a certain story. So right now, so far, some of the work that I've done that have been recognized are known to be sad Filipino stories. But I'm really happy to share that, the next projects in line are not as sad. They're actually funny, but obviously still filled with the Filipino heart and experience as well.
Now, you also mentioned a while ago that you actually graduated from UP before you came to Canada. And I guess that's one of the immigrant experiences that you can actually capture on film too. What it's like to be a college graduate, coming to a country that doesn't recognize our credentials, right?
Yeah,
and so that's probably one of the things that you'd like to tackle as well in some of your films.
Well, fun fact, Paco is actually inspired by that experience. I've touched on themes of that exactly, that somebody could have a diploma moving into another country, and his education doesn't count, and that's one of the things that we actually touched in the film.
I think one of the frustrations for me is that once the VIFF is over, there's no. I find it difficult or challenging to find the films on the market. Can you tell us where we can catch Paco and the other films that were made by our Canadian filmmakers?
Yeah. So the thing about films that are playing in film festival circuit, we can't really put them online for everyone to watch yet for a certain period of time. So for Paco, we just released and announced this a few days ago too. We're playing in Philadelphia next. Part of that festival is virtual and is geo-blocked in North America, so people in Canada can enjoy the film. We're also playing in Hawaii. We're also playing in Chilliwack this coming November. And yeah, so far, really happy that a lot of the film festivals around the world actually have been really supportive with the film and have programmed it to their film festivals.
That's awesome. Please let us know right away how we can get a
Yeah.
hold of Paco so that we can watch it too. Um, so how do you think we can be more marketable in terms of our stories? Because as far as I know, our films are making really, really great, good waves in Europe, but it doesn't seem to be the same when it comes to North America. So is it going to be a change of theme? Is it going to be a change of topic? What will it take, do you think, for us to break it into the mainstream? I mean, Jokoy has done it. He's broken into the mainstream, not as big as we want it to be, of course, but again, it's a film of stereotypes, right? And I'm sure that you want to move away from that too, right? What do you think will it take for us to break into the mainstream and really produce these? Because all of our filmmakers are very, very talented. You, Kat, Jamie, we have a bunch of wonderful and creative filmmakers, yet it's so difficult for us. It's really challenging for us to break it. So what would it take for us to really break it into the mainstream?
I think it's really innovative storytelling. I know it's quite vague as a word when you say innovative. I think Filipino Canadian filmmakers and Filipino American filmmakers need to be telling stories that haven't been told yet. Or if not something that hasn't been told, probably a different way and approach on the structure of the films that we make. Also, I think the Filipino community, both in the US and Canada, need to be supporting, need to be supporting Filipino content, films and television shows, because how are we going to expect the general audience to embrace our stories if the Filipino community itself is not supporting, the independent filmmakers like me who's trying to get into that level to tell our stories in a much wider audience.
I totally agree with you 100%. Simply because
Thank you.
simply because I'm in theater, and theater is one of those things that not a lot of Filipinos appreciate, right? And that's why it's so challenging for, we also have a lot of theater actors here in Canada who are acting in a lot of good shows, yet the audience doesn't seem to be populated by Filipinos. And so I totally agree with you that certainly is a challenge. Filipinos need to watch Filipino films, and I think that's the message that needs to we need to get that out into the public.
That's why I'm making, like highly relatable films. Because I want the Filipino audience to be reflected on screen. If it's not them, then their experiences. And I think that's why more Filipinos should come out and support, Filipino stories.
Absolutely. And we're gonna do our darnest to make people watch our movies, our Filipino Canadian made movies, because you guys are such a talented bunch and you deserve all the recognition for all the work that you do. So what's next for Kent? What's gonna be up next? Day job, projects. What's it gonna be?
What's next for me? I'm actually scheduled to leave for the Philippines to shoot a portion of my feature documentary. I have a project called Treasure of the Rice Terraces. So it's about my personal journey in fixing my fractured identity as a Filipino through traditional Filipino tattoos. So featuring Apple Wangod and her apprentices in the film. We were in Kalinga back in 2020 before the lockdown happened for research, and I'm just really, really excited to be doing that next. Writing a comedy show that is
let's go.
that is Filipino. Can't spill the beans yet on everything, but it's something that I'm also really, really excited to do. And the next one that I'm also writing is a feature fiction film called 4-4. that will feature one of the hardest Philippine folk dances called tinikling, but set in North America. Yeah.
Well, Ken, thank you so much. And like I said, let us know, keep us updated on where we can catch Paco and all your other documentaries. If there's if there's something that we can help out with in terms of showing it on our YouTube channel or anywhere where we can, we would really want those films to be out into the Filipino communities.
Awesome. And I also forgot to mention my last short documentary will be released actually next month. November 1st. It will be available on Crave. It's called Kalinga for Care. It's a short documentary about the stories of Filipino caregivers and nannies here in Vancouver and how their stories helped me understand what my mom had to go through when she left me as to become a caregiver.
Absolutely. And that really touches the heart. And I'm sure it will be a very, very good one. Well, thank you very much, Kent. And more
Thank
power
you so
to
much.
you. God bless you and more success to you in the future.
Thank you.
Nagpapasalamat po kami sa aming sponsor, ang 88 Supermarket na may 2 branches sa Killarney Market at sa Victoria Drive. Maraming salamat po. At dito na naman nagtatapos ang balita namin para sa linggong ito. Kung kayo may mga komento, mga issue o balitang nais niyong ibahagi sa aming programa, ang PNC ay bukas para sa inyong lahat. Mag-email lamang po sa balitangvancouver@gmail.com o tumawag sa 604-588-6397. Nagbabalita mula dito sa Surrey, kumakain ng turkey at ng ham and celebrating Thanksgiving. Ako po si Rosette Correa at ito ang Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver.
For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.
For your palm and face reading, horoscope, numerology, and Vasta Shastra, see astrologer Raj Guru, located at 48th Avenue East, Fraser Street, Vancouver, or call 604-750-0126.